It's your boy Shorts.
What's up? It's Chris Gatsby.
It's your girl Jazzo.
And you're right.
The Vibe Spot.
Come and catch a vibe. Yo, what's up, vibers? Today we got Felony Fit in the building.
Woo!
Yes. Bodybuilder, fitness motivator, entrepreneur.
Got a little bit of everything going on right now.
Put us on.
Besides the fact that you big as fuck, why do you have the name Felony Fit?
Well, the name came from my fitness journey, my life journey. You know, the time I spent incarcerated was the time I really started focusing on fitness. It was something that helped me keep my mental health intact, keep my body intact, and just prepare my mind for getting back out here. You know, like, I spent quite a few years behind the wall, so, you know, fitness was one thing that, you know, was able to keep me sane a lot of the time.
Got you.
That's wonderful. Wow, yeah. So, I'm sorry, I want to brag about my parents. I always talk about my parents. They're fit parents. Like, my dad probably be your homeboy and shit, you feel me? But besides that, do you work with the youth?
Well, I have spoken to the youth. I've gone to several high schools and spoken to some teams and some players just about the importance of not just keeping your body right, but your conduct. You know, like, for me, you know, I was always a good athlete, but school kind of like pushed me through because I was a good athlete, so I never really dealt with consequences. But when you turn 18, nothing the coaches can do for you, feel me?
Mm-hmm.
At 18, you're dealing with judges, not coaches.
Right.
So, you know, my athletic, you know, career got cut short, so I kind of try to translate to the kids, you know, just that one day between 17 and 18 means a world of difference. Mm-hmm. And the way you conduct yourself, you know, from that day forward, you know, it can change everything. One bad decision can derail everything.
I think that goes with any age, damn sure when you're 18.
100%, but you know,
more
some of these kids that are good athletes, they don't deal with consequences. They don't know what consequences
They're
are.
privileged. They're privileged students.
Yeah.
And I think kids today are actually getting less and less, you know, because there is no consequences. They're not understanding like that their actions have repercussions. They have consequences.
There's too much sensitivity and a lot of
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. So your fitness journey started. You said it had a lot to do with you going away for a while. Right.
Well, you know, when you're behind the wall, the only thing that you can control is how you look. You know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of, you know, you want to do push-ups, you do push-ups. But you can't go outside when you want to go outside. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to the store. You get up and do sit-ups if you want. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So sometimes it was the only way to take your mind out of being in a cell. You know what I mean? Right. And when you're given time to go outside, you know, it's fresh air, but, you know, it's only but so much talking to other people and hearing me war stories about things they did or should have did. They probably lying about. You ain't trying to hear that.
Lying, bro.
You know what I mean? So you tend to get into your own bag and do whatever you know, tend to do. Some people like to gamble, some people like to play ball. Me, I just used to like to play the baseball, play the dip ball, you know, thing, and stay to myself. It was the easiest way to pass the time and, like I said, keep my sanity.
You stayed inside of your mind.
So would you say you went into like a meditative, how do you say it? Meditative state?
100%. Like, I always tell people the gym is my sanctuary. Like, that's why I go to think, that's why I go to release.
And receive.
100%. Like, the benefits, you know, they just come with consistency. You know, like I tell people all the time, like, people say, I want to start working out, but I don't want to be big. Yeah. Like, I can guarantee you if you start working out tomorrow, you're not going to be big.
No.
You'll be fine.
You know what I mean? You'll be fine.
You'll be okay. You'll make it.
You know what I mean? So, you know.
Women say that a lot. What advice do you have for women that want to get their body
Lift them weights, bitches. Respectfully.
She's right. Lift the weights.
Lift your weights.
Lift the weights. You know, some people think that cardio alone is going to do what they want to their body. Like, weightlifting has a tremendous amount of benefits that cardio just won't bring you. You know what I mean?
Like what?
Like, just tightening the body altogether. Like, the muscle, you know, tends to stay tighter if you lift weights because the muscle is under a different kind of pressure, as opposed to using just cardio. You'll be burning only fat and losing muscle at the same time. You know, you build muscle and burn fat when you train with weights. You know what I mean? So while you might gain weight on the scale, but never look at the scale to determine what
I don't look at that shit. I mean, I do and I don't.
The scale is secondary. Don't get me wrong, you do want to be within a certain range to be healthy, of course, but the scale is not.
Or health.
Or health, especially health. Probably.
Exactly. Well, which is all in the same, because so we always talk about a healthier lifestyle. You know, I was drinking a Red Bull on one of those episodes. And we know, right. You know, it's like,
we
it's
try.
the Gemini, the devil's advocate. Anyway, we sinners, whatever. But,
I'll be right.
nah.
You gotta live my life.
Yo, it's a balance, you know? It's a balance.
100%.
And how did you find that balance, like, when you came out?
Well, when you come out, you know, you got to assimilate to the outside world, you know what I mean? You can't, number one, you can't keep that mentality that you have in there because that could get you in a world of trouble. So you have to understand that, you know, things have changed, you know, according to the amount of time you've been away. For me, it was a substantial amount of time. So things change, the way people live changed, the way your culture around you is changed. And if you did what you're supposed to do while you're in there, your environment will have changed tremendously because you would have removed yourself completely from everything you knew before because you're not trying to repeat the same mistakes. In making that transition, you know, you find solace in the things that, you know, give you calm, that give you peace. So the gym has always been that for me, but now I have more access. Now I have access whenever I want. It's not just whenever I'm told I could. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you just tend to just be in your happy place. That was my place, you know. So, you know, coming out, not working right away, you know, trying to find a job and going through that transitioning phase. Being in the one place I knew I wouldn't get in any trouble, being in the one place I knew I wouldn't be under anybody else's influences, it's the gym. You know what I mean? So just gravitate.
Remind me of my dad so much.
So,
I just love it.
That's an hour and a half.
You know what? And I love that. And I respect a lot of men and women that really, to wake up at a certain time or even just make that time for yourself, that really shows love. It's love. It's self-love.
Self-care. Self-care should be number one. You know, if you like who you see in the mirror every day, what you give to the world will be a better presentation. You know what I mean? And everybody giving their best to the world can make the world a better place. I ain't saying fitness will change the world, but I'm saying it starts with everybody loving themselves and taking care of themselves.
Right.
And doing what they love to do.
Right.
Fire.
Hopefully everybody just doesn't get jacked and start beating the shit out of each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's on their fitness shit. Everybody on their fitness shit.
That's the last thing we need. We got too many classes of opinions as it is right now.
Yeah. So how long did you do? How much?
Altogether 11 and a half years.
So I would say that's a good chunk of your life.
100%.
So I would say that
A lot of changes in that time.
You know the insides and the outs of that system. What are some things that, looking now from the outside, that you say, I would change that in the system to make it better?
You know, they always talk about prison reform and things like that, but you can't reform. It's hard to pinpoint it, you know what I mean? Because you have people employed by prisons who, despite what policies say, you know, people who come to prisons to do an 8-hour shift as a social worker, they don't give a fuck about the inmate population. So the inmate population is not given the best of the information and the resources that are necessary to make the changes because the system is built for you to come back. That's why the recidivism rate state to state is so high and nationally is so high because the system is built for you to sit on your ass, watch TV, work out, and cultivate ways in your mind to do whatever you were doing before in a way not to get caught.
I hear you.
Then on top of it, when you come out, you owe mad money. Like, for what? For why?
I mean,
and how?
Oh, you're taxed.
It's so crazy. Like, they taxing you on your whole life.
Yeah, in some states, you know, you lose your rights to vote. In some states, you know.
Fuck that. I mean, I'd rather lose that than, you know, all that money you gotta pay when you come out.
All that stuff is important.
And all that stuff is important, yes, I know. But if I had to pick the lesser evil or whatever, like, because that makes people do things. Will go back into those old habits, and they do that on purpose.
100%.
The vicious cycle that
you
they
know,
put.
Well, that's how the system is created.
That's how the system is created. But the one thing that people don't always understand is that everyone in the system is not a bad person.
No.
People make stupid mistakes. They end up in prison, and prison affects more families.
And it happens faster than you know it.
Oh,
like that's
100%.
what people don't understand. And if you don't have the funds, usually that's what it is. If you do not have the funds to pay for a lawyer, get you a Jewish one.
Oh, you going to jail?
You going to
Yeah.
No, I had a blind lawyer. This dude was like Daredevil, bro.
No, but
We won?
me personally, I would never tell somebody to get a public defender. A public defender, to me, you know, some of them are great, but it's the luck of the draw. You don't know who you're gonna get.
You don't know who's tired.
And as far as I'm concerned, if your paycheck comes from the same person the prosecutor's paycheck comes from, you don't have my best interest at hand. It's
a conflict of interest.
100%.
Speaking of conflict of interest, what do you think about private prisons? Because, you know, it's not a huge amount, but I think it's something like 10 to 15% of all inmates actually go to these private prisons where they're making money off of the man, your flesh, living there in their facility every single day. Do you think that that's a conflict of interest?
Well, of course. I mean, of course it is, but until, you know, the 13th Amendment is eradicated, like, the prison is going to be what it's going to be. The thing is now, you know, now there's so much information.
You're talking about inmates being considered almost like slaves.
Inmates being considered slaves, whether it's privately owned or owned by the state. You know what I mean? So,
What amendment was that?
The 13th Amendment. You know what I mean? So, until that amendment is changed, until certain things in the Constitution are changed, prison is going to be what it's going to be. However, you know, and I have sometimes points of views that people find shocking, just, you know, just because of my past.
They put you in a stigma. They got you in like with a
Well, yeah, because you know, because certain people.
They in the box. They in the box.
Yeah.
So then you surprise them.
Yeah, well, just the thing is just, you know, there's so much information out there. Like, we know now, you know, why prisons were instituted the way they were, why police forces were built the way they were. There's so much information now that it's like, if you go to prison, it's kind of on you as well. You know what I mean? Like, the system is what the system is, but the system has been exposed.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, if you play into the hands of a system that you know is fucked up, that you know is built against you, then, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to end up suffering the consequences of those actions. Yeah. Now, I'm not advocating for the system. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is,
you know the game, fucking play.
Yeah, with knowledge.
Don't act like you're like, oh shit, this shit happened. You knew the game.
That shit
you knew you played it
holding
fucked
cell
up.
in America is filled with niggas that
It's true.
do it.
It's true.
You feel me? Every holding cell in America is filled with niggas telling stories right now about how they ain't do whatever the fuck the cops said they did. Now, I ain't saying they did it, and I ain't saying they didn't do it. What I'm saying is, if you don't put yourself in certain situations, you won't be in certain places.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never gonna find myself in another holding cell again, because I ain't gonna be in no place where no cops gonna run down and assume that I'm selling drugs or, you know what I'm saying, carrying a weapon or anything like that. There's not gonna be no assumptions made, you know, to that degree, ever.
I should.
Because you understand that the choices that you make have consequence.
100%. And the presentation that you make. You know what I mean? Like, the presentation that you make, you know, counts for something, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know that profiling exists. Like I said, that information is out there. So if you know that profiling exists, despite it being fair or unfair,
it is.
You gotta be prepared. You gotta be prepared for what's gonna come. Don't not do it, but be ready.
You don't have
stay
to like
ready.
Gravity.
Stay ready. You ain't gotta get ready.
Exactly. If you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. And that's, you know what I mean. That's just something that we should all live by. No matter what you do, no matter where you at, no matter what, you know, profile you fit. You know what I mean? If you stay ready, especially in today's society, you ain't gotta get ready, and that's something you should always live by.
That's
what I tell my son all the time.
That's fire.
Felony Fit in the building, man. Spitting words of fire, bro. I love it. I love it.
Word.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Nah, man, you're doing big things. You just said you were in Colombia, you in Cali, doing shooting with some other brand. Like,
Okay.
talk about that a little bit, man. So you're so modest. Like, you just like, yo, you just getting by. Yes, nigga. No.
First and foremost, I ain't making no money yet. I wish I was, but that's not the case. But like I said, fitness was the initial plan coming out. You feel me? Fitness was the initial plan, training or whatever the case may be. But there's really, despite how much of a market fitness is, there's really not room to make a lot of money in fitness unless you have a certain clientele base, like I was telling you before.
Yeah.
So, ultimately life happened. My day job took precedence, and fitness kind of took a back step.
So, like a lot of entrepreneurs that have jobs, and they keep pushing that thing off to the side and pushing it off to the side.
Well, if you never take the chance, you never will make it. So
you never know. Some people can live without knowing. I can't. That shit burns the fuck out of me. I won't be able to sleep at night not knowing. I gotta wake up and at least try that shit once.
100%.
You could do whatever the fuck you want to do, but my ass is getting to it.
So
Come on, Tibao.
So I realized rather that fitness, wasn't gonna be the leading moneymaker, just going to work and things like that, just taking to how people take to my appearance. I figured, let me see what other markets exist.
Right.
So I started trying the fitness modeling route, and from that found a couple of extra routes and a couple of different series that we might see on television.
Okay.
Yeah,
You heard it here first, the Vibe Spot. Felony Fit about to be on a novella or some shit, bro. Look at this motherfucker, yo.
I'm not an actor. I'm trying.
Nah,
I'm
we're all
not even
trying.
struggling.
Fuck that shit, yo.
You know what I
Every
mean?
business, the IRS already knows. Every new business, you're supposed to fail the first 5 years. So don't let that shit, I'm not making no money yet. Nobody fucking makes money off the bat, period. But it's the ones that make money is that push through that shit.
Exactly. I'm putting in the legwork right now.
Right.
Right.
A friend of mine just patented a new product, and he asked me to be the brand ambassador for that. So
What's the product?
it's called Easy Fits. It's a bench cover. It's a product for the gym. It's like a universal bench cover. It fits over every bench. It has snaps. It's adjustable. It folds into a nice little pouch. It's really cool. It's a really cool product. And
it's to bring with you to the gym to like cover the bench so other people sweat.
Exactly. Microfibers, antibacterials, the whole deal. It's a really cool product.
Wow.
And he put a couple dollars behind it, and he shot a nice little commercial.
Is it just for the flat bench, or is it for everything?
Oh, it's universal. It fits. It's like consider a fitted sheet for a bed. Now made out of like some type of
that's smart as fuck.
spandexy type of.
Because
I don't know.
you're not
exactly
cleaning those benches that well in there. It makes sense, and it's nasty. People sweat all day, and now we know. I felt like in the last, really after COVID, people were like, "Yo, that shit's nasty. That's nasty."
And despite people making a big deal about masks in the gym and stuff like that, the real spread of germs comes from laying down in somebody else's sweat and shit like that. Like that's disgusting. So
you actually need your product. Say that shit again, and where to find it?
Easy Fits. It's not. It hasn't hit the shelves yet, but it's coming. The Instagram is up. Everything is under construction right now, but stay tuned though. It's definitely a good product.
Yeah, and y'all need that shit, cause I need 100%.
one. Yeah, that sounds good. Cause when I go to the gym, like. You gotta wipe after everybody and stuff like that. Sometimes you get people that sweat. You ever see the people that are just pouring water? I'm like, are you okay? You want me to get a Gatorade? You want me to help you? What are you doing? You're stressing me the fuck out, bro.
That's exactly why I know the product works, because I'm one of those people. Like I sweat like an animal.
There you go, guys.
You should get a fucking animal. It's a great silverback ape over here, bro. Look at this guy. You want to take off your shirt and fucking flex? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? We got OnlyFans coming out too. What's up?
Oh, yeah,
what you want to do? Yes, we do. Don't fuck my money up. Don't fuck my money up.
We're gonna have some ladies and gentlemen.
He said, no, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. All right, guys. Listen. Thank you, Felony Fit, for coming out.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you, man. Like, we're gonna have to maybe come on another time and talk about. The ins and outs of that justice system. Maybe how we can do some things to fix it,
And definitely some tips. Like, let's do like some tips for the ladies and for the guys.
Fix it. Tear that shit down.
Like 5, maybe 5. Yeah, we could do like 5 workouts, 5 and 5.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to know.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. I like that idea.
I'm with that.
I'm with that. Fire.
Maybe get y'all in shape, man.
Yeah.
Go to the gym with me
I love
quite
it.
some times. You already
Love
done
it,
it.
man.
No, be safe, my guy.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Now you make me.
This dude's arm is like his head, bro. Holy shit. This is fucking crazy. It looks crazy on camera.
Wait, stop.
Wait, hold on. You get the other phone.
Nutrition is a huge part of fitness. What you eat, how you eat, when you eat. Yes. But how you work out is what determines how you look. Somebody tell me they get you right in 21 days, I take that as an insult. Cause I've been doing this shit for 21 years.
Guys, be ready.
Oh, I like those twists, nigga.
Thank you.
Survive.
Can I get my butterfly? Well, damn, y'all both gave me the wrong thing, but I appreciate y'all. Really sorry.